Great. Fine. So it is recovered, right? Anyways, it was, I think, in cloud somewhere, right? So, am I audible to everyone? And the screen is visible?
Yes.
Yeah, Harish.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So, as of now, recording is happening, and no, fine. So we are good. So, so what we were discussing, little bit of flow has been disturbed. So we were discussing about consolidation ratio, right? So let me clear this screen. Okay, so I just used a term called consolidation ratio. So let me try to write here. Yeah, it's working. So we talked about consolidation and we talked about consolidation ratio, right? So this consolidation ratio means what? What you understood? It is calculated by counting the number of VMs per server. Say like one server, one hypervisor, and you have say like 8 VMs. So what will be the consolidation ratio? 8:1. 8:1, right? So this is what we need to understand. So what I wanted to tell that in general, you have a consolidation ratio of 4:1. Now you understand how much computing capacity and other storage and other things we are misusing simply if we don't do this virtualization, correct? So from traditional data center to this particular virtualization technology has helped us a lot, right? So this will drive down the cost, right? And there is some term called containment. Nowadays it is more famous, containment, right? You heard about this term, right? Containment?
Yeah.
Containment zones, right? So there is some other term, right, in virtualization that is called containment. Say like companies where they began to see the benefits of virtualization, so they stopped purchasing new hardware, because you already saw like you have say like 4:1 consolidation ratio. So from one server you are getting 4 virtual machines, right? So remaining 3 servers are free for your use. Then why you go for purchasing new hardware? Correct, no? Now what happened? So they stopped purchasing new hardware, right? When they're say like some people would take servers on lease if they are not purchasing. So they stopped leasing new ones, right? So what they would do? They will do the what? Say like what other situation when they can stop using server? Say like lease is over, or say like whatever license is there, license also will be there, right, for these hardware machines. License is over, so now there is no support or something, maintenance license is not there, right? Now what to do with those servers, right? So they started virtualizing those servers. So what they did, they started staging the application workload on their existing virtual infrastructure, right? So they started doing this containment. So containment, how it is going to benefit them? They don't have to decommission hardware every year. They don't have to decommission it, right? And the cost involved in managing and maintaining the servers, the power supply, the backup power supply, cooling equipments, right? And all those things were removed from, right, their task list, right? So what they did, they started utilizing, right? They started doing containing the servers, the hardwares, right? For virtualizing, they started virtualizing those hardwares which became obsolete in some or the other way. So they started using it. They started using it. They started virtualizing it, and that concept is called containment. Am I clear to everyone?
Yeah.
So traditional servers, right? From traditional server to virtualization, right? So two most important things we discussed. One is consolidation, another is containment, right? These are the most important, right, characteristics or features or no, the benefit, right, that this virtualization has given, right? From financial point of view, from a scalability point of view, right, from availability point of view, right? So this has benefited the organizations, right? So this is what. So just remember the key terms like availability, scalability, right, and
Consolidation.
cost reduction, right? Right. So now let's discuss how this virtualization is. If you try to go into know more about virtualization, maybe you can know at a later point of time you can try to know find more thing about the virtualization, right? So there will be some kind of desktop virtualization or data virtualization or server virtualization or network virtualization or a lot of in-depth concept is there, right? So that you can try to find out. Okay. So as of now, you understood what is hypervisor, right? It is a software, right? So it is sometimes called virtual machine monitor, right? Which will isolate the resources, the virtual environment from the physical environment, right? Right. So when we use the physical environment will be called as host, and the virtual environment will be called as guest. And hypervisor, like CPU, memory, storage, or something, whatever, it will have a pool of resources, no, and it can take the pool of resources from the underlying hardware, which may be traditional, which may be called a commodity, or which may be kind of without license or whatever. So underlying all these hardwares, right, all the capacity will be taken by the hypervisor, and then it will be reallocated between the existing guests, right? So all hypervisor will have some kind of components, right? So some kind of memory manager, some kind of process scheduler, some kind of input output stack will be there, some device drivers will be there, some security manager will be there, some network stack will be there, a lot of things will be there, a lot of facility will be there in the that hypervisor, and that hypervisor will be able to create the virtual environment for you. So mainly, right, these are the two essential benefits, right? And now you have two types of hypervisors. I just clear this, right? So you have two types of hypervisors. There is one hypervisor which is called type 1. Type 1, right? Type 1 hypervisors, and another one would be type 2 hypervisor. Type 1 hypervisor and type 2 hypervisor. So type 1 hypervisor also called, right, native hypervisor. I write HV. That okay?
Yeah.
And type 2 hypervisor you can call hosted hypervisor. You can call it hosted hypervisor, right? So this type 1 hypervisor or native hypervisor, you just understand it is a bare metal hypervisor. Bare metal hypervisor. Start relating, right? Now, when it comes to bare metal means what? The physical machine, the physical hardware, right? Right? It doesn't have anything else, right? It is completely physical hardware, piece of hardware, bare metal, right? The physical server, okay? It's not the virtual server, right? So, a recording is in place, fine. So, it takes the place of a what? Host operating system, the type 1 hypervisor. You getting it?
Yeah.
We had seen some time ago some picture where what we did, we took the physical machines and on top of it, what did I put? Hypervisor, right?
Yeah.
So you have a what? Physical machine, right? And on top of that, you have hypervisor directly. So you understand, like this will run directly on host hardware.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll just mention it here. Runs, so that no, more clear, directly on. I'll just say host. Will that be okay? Or let me say hosts. I'll say host hardware. Now is that clear?
Yeah.
So
This is
type, yeah,
native hypervisor. Right?
correct, correct. It's also called native hypervisor. It's native to the hardware. It's native to the hardware. So it will be running directly on the host machine's hardware to manage the guest operating system. So just understand that it is a kind of host operating system only. Instead of having the operating system for the host, it will directly get installed as an operating system, right? So this will be like an operating system which we install directly on the hardware. So this native, this bare metal hypervisor will directly be installed on the top of the physical machine, right? And all the VM resources are scheduled directly to the hardware by this particular hypervisor, right? So this type of hypervisor is say like most common in enterprise data centers, right? Or some kind of server-based environments, right? Because you must be familiar with such you must have heard about what you call vSphere.
WebSphere, yes.
vSphere.
No.
Okay, so say like this is from VMware. VMware vSphere, right? So this is something like Microsoft. Anybody from Microsoft? Microsoft also has, right? Microsoft. It is called Hyper-V. Okay, so there's something called Hyper-V, right? So these are the type 1 hypervisor. What is that? Type 1 hypervisor.
Okay.
So type 2 hypervisor, no? So if you run Linux machine, you'll come to know KVM. Anybody heard about KVM?
No.
Kernel virtual machine, KVM. Linux machines,
No.
no, you will have this KVM, right? This is also type 1 only. So type 1 hyper, say like somebody is running Linux machine, they will have directly they will have KVM there only. They don't have to install anything on top of the operating system, right? So now we discuss about say like type 2 hypervisor, right? So that is called hosted hypervisor. Hosted means what? Not direct. It is hosted somewhere else, right? So this will run on this. You can say runs on what? Some OS, some conventional operating system, right? runs on operating system runs on you understand, like another operating system runs on operating runs on an operating system, right, as a software layer, that is important, as a software layer, right? It runs as a software layer
Okay.
on top of the operating system.
Okay.
Am I making some sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what happens there? Some guest operating system is there, some hardware is there. On top of the hardware, you have some guest operating system, right? And say like you have on top of that, you have the VM. You're getting it? You have the hardware. On top of that, you have the operating system. Okay? On top of that operating system, you have the hypervisor. On top of the hypervisor, you have the guest machines. Now, the guest operating system, can it know about host operating system? Yes or no, I need.
No.
So is there any abstraction? Yes.
Yes.
And what is that abstraction? This particular hypervisor is the abstraction. So you have the hardware, right? And you have the what?
Software.
On the top
Guest,
of hardware, what you have?
Guest
Operating
operating system. It's like
Yes,
Host
yes. You
operating
have
system.
operating system, right?
Yeah.
On top of that, what you have?
Hypervisor.
hypervisor.
Okay. On top of hypervisor, what do you have?
That virtual machine.
Host machines.
Yes. So now you understand that hypervisor came in between the operating system of the host machine and the applications, right? Which are application which is running on the top of the hypervisor. You can just understand like the virtual machines which are running is kind of on top of the hypervisor. So this hypervisor is abstracting the host machines operating system from the guest machines operating system. Okay, let me try to make a picture to make it more clear, right? So that will help better. So what I will do, I take small space here. Let me see if I can move the screen a little bit. Yeah, I can move the screen also. I can minimize it, make it smaller. Can you see this is becoming a little smaller?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And I have some space, right? So what I will do, I'll just keep it aside, and then because anyway I wrote very big, so I have the opportunity here. Fine. So what I will do, let me draw. Take a black pen, right? And let me differentiate here. Put a divider here, right? And I use this space. Use this space. Okay, so let me use this particular space I have. Okay, so just you guide me, right? And no, I will do it. So I would say like I have the hardware, right? Then this is this one, type 1, native one. So I have hardware. What should be here? Next level?
Hypervisor. On top of that.
Very good. So I have the hypervisor. Okay. Then what else?
Guest machines. On top.
Virtual machines.
Yes.
So virtual machine will have its own OS here, right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So this is what is type 1 or native, very simple, right? Bare metal hypervisor. Now comes this type 2, right? So say like I have the hardware, Okay. Now, what will be there?
Operating system will be there.
OS.
Very good, very good. So I will have operating system on top of that. Now what? On top of that what?
Hypervisor.
Hypervisor.
Yes. Now I have on top of this, I have the hypervisor. I write like this. Okay, then
Virtual machines.
very good.
Machines.
Right? VM will have its own OS, right? Running that virtual machine. So I have right. So it will have this will be having guest OS, we call it. Guest will have its own OS. Maybe you are running some other Windows on top of Linux or whatever. So and this will be called host OS. Now this hypervisor, right, is doing abstraction between guest OS and host OS. This is what I want to say. Clear?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so perfect. So what example I remember, say like for this one, what I can tell you is I used VMware Workstation earlier. VMware, no, you might have used VMware Workstation maybe on your desktop or something. It's really very useful, very small one. Like you are a developer or something, you want to run more than one machine, right? Sometimes. So VMware Workstation is good. Workstation I used, and there is something like Oracle will give. Oracle will give some kind of name. I am missing. I think VirtualBox. Okay. So there is something VirtualBox from Oracle people, right? So VMware Workstation or VirtualBox, these are the type 2 hypervisors which are called hosted hypervisors. It will be running on top of the what?
Host operating system.
Yes.
Host OS.
Right. Fine. So we will just know. If you want to take a screenshot or something, you may please.
Yeah.
This is consolidated thing, right? So maybe useful to you.
Yeah, we take a screenshot.
Okay. So, may I clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Sai?
Yeah, Harish.
Okay. So I just clear the screen here. So now comes something like we have been discussing. So we are discussing like what is virtualization, what are the benefits of virtualization. Can you relate?
Yeah.
Can you
Yeah.
you know like what are the types of virtualization? Correct?
Yes.
So how virtualization works? You understood?
Yeah, using
Yes.
hypervisor.
You got some fundamental knowledge about it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then what is left is virtualization in cloud, and there is something called virtualization versus cloud. Okay, so let's discuss. Let's not ever get confused, right? Because some of the people, I found like they will be confused with virtualization. They will be thinking like, okay, cloud is all about virtualization. So cloud is not all about virtualization, right? Cloud is not all about virtualization. Both are different things actually, right? So thing is here, even virtualization, you saw how beneficial it is, right? And it is all about abstraction. What is common between cloud and virtualization is abstraction, right? In cloud also you see abstraction is there. From your mobile you are simply accessing something without even worried about anything in the background, right? So abstraction is there at various levels, right? So in virtualization, you have abstraction. So that is common between virtualization and cloud computing. So, but what is the difference? What is the difference between virtualization and cloud?
Cloud.
Just think and tell. So earlier, when I started telling about virtualization, so I told it is a technology. Virtualization is a technology, right? So technology to create some virtual environment, right? Right?
Yeah.
Abstracting the physical environment, correct?
Yeah, correct.
That is a technology.
Yeah.
What is cloud? Is cloud a technology?
No, no.
What it is? Cloud is an environment. Cloud is an environment. Virtualization is a technology. Cloud is an environment. Right? It's a methodology, right? It's environment. So what happens is virtualization has allowed you to create virtual environment, right? So this is one of the technology that is adopted and extensively used by the cloud, right?
Yes.
So it is something like you can say like there can be more thing, right? Oh, did we miss something initially that I had told you that no, we are something important is there? Please remind me.
Yeah, yeah. It's private cloud versus public cloud and other stuff.
And any other thing we initially told, like while telling data center, some enabling technology, cloud even enabling technology. You remember?
No.
So initially I was telling cloud. I'll say like technology. Oh, what is happening? Where it is coming? Clear it. So technologies to enable cloud. This was something I wanted to discuss, and then I discussed about the cloud data center, right?
Okay.
Cloud data center, and then I told another thing would be virtualization. Right, so I wanted to discuss the technology to enable cloud. We discussed why cloud, then we discussed like essential characteristics of cloud. Then I moved to virtualization. So I told that we'll be discussing about technologies which are there to enable the cloud. So this virtualization is a technology adopted by the cloud. Cloud is heavily depending on virtualization, right, to enable itself. Without this, cloud is not at all a cloud. Cloud is of no use. Without virtualization, it is really very difficult. Okay, so virtualization is one of the most important technology for enabling the cloud. Okay, so just understand like that. So you can say like virtualization is a technology used by, adopted by cloud for its growth and for its scalability, for a lot of features. Without virtualization, it will be difficult. So that is the next step. Cloud is the next step after virtualization, where it is, and you can just say like cloud is an environment. So we'll discuss the difference, right? So let's go back and quickly discuss, not discuss, maybe like I just point out. So in between you'll find it. So there is something called cloud API. There is some other thing called cloud storage, right? So cloud API, cloud storage, and virtualization, and cloud this one, cloud storage, and there is one more, or you can say like cloud database. Okay, so these are the technologies which enables cloud, So are you familiar with the term API? Anybody from development background or something? Ranjita, Urvashi, Vikas, Sai, Apeksha, all are there?
Not
No, Harish.
not familiar.
API, okay. So API is application programming interface. What it is?
Application programming interface.
Application programming, double M, right?
Yeah.
Programming interface, right? So application programming interface. So this API. So this is a layer between user and cloud services and resources. So just understand, like, you have the user and there is some cloud services being provided by some cloud service provider. So API is an interface, right? It's a layer, right? Which is important. Without this interface, without this layer, no abstraction cannot happen. So this is, and this will only enable the services to be provided in various forms to the end users in form of application or some kind of whatever mobile application or whatever. So this is very
Can
important.
you repeat it again? Sorry.
So
I mean, it's
what I told was API is application programming interface,
Yeah.
right? So the meaning of API is API works as a what? Layer. It works as a layer. Just understand, application programming interface. So between the application, one application and another application, there may be a layer, or like how one program will communicate with other program, right? This is defined by API. How one program will communicate, give something to other program, take something from other program. So there must be some interface which may be modified or which might accept the request, talk to the other application program, right? So some kind of interaction should be allowed between the programs, right? So that is API. That this is so important that without this API, without this cloud API, right, it's not possible to what? To create the applications or communicate with the end users. So these cloud services, how you make it available to the end user, right? That is enabled by this API. This is actually, each operating system, Windows API, you might have heard some kind of. So each, operating system will give you a feature, right? Some API. So like that only, whatever the cloud will have some API. So this is so important that you might have heard about. I just don't know, Google Buzz or something. That was like, no, they didn't give API. So these developers were so unhappy and like, no, without API, what do you do? How do you do development, and how you can make some other application or something, how you can make it available to the end users? So whatever services you may be having, that services may be very secure, very robust and very important, right? But how it reaches the end user? How will it reach the end user? How traditional data centers didn't have this API, so end users could not connect to it using the mobile application or something. There was no developer who could develop an application only. So these APIs are very important, right? So this will enable, right, the what? This is a layer, right, which will enable the communication between the end user and the cloud service provider. So between even the cloud service and the resources, there will be API. How the cloud service will communicate with the underlying service. So that is, you heard about RESTful API or something? Anybody? RESTful API, representational state transfer, we call it. R-E-S-T, REST we call it, REST. There is a term in development that is called RESTful API. So RESTful API is something like, it will use HTTP request. Say like some HTTP, when you try to open a website or something using HTTP, what it will do, it will try to run some get command, put command, post command, like that. So RESTful API, there is one application programming interface that will use HTTP request. So that is one example of the API.
RESTful APIs, which I mean,
It will use HTTP.
HTTP.
Yeah, HTTP request, right?
Yeah.
It will use HTTP request, RESTful API.
Okay.
So I'll just write it somewhere so that you RESTful API. REST, okay, REST, then full, RESTful API, right? So this will use HTTP request.
This will use HTTP request. Okay.
Yeah, it will use HTTP request for say like for a website, some code will be there, right? API for a website is a kind of code that will allow two programs to communicate with each other. So there is one program, there is another program, right? So there will be some API through which they will communicate. So now if they use HTTP protocol, right, then it will be RESTful API. So like that, there is Cloud API, right? So this Cloud API is one of the backend technology to enable the cloud. Then there comes the storage in the database that we will be discussing in our course. Okay. So cloud, these all cloud storage and cloud database that we will be discussing. So as of now, you understand that cloud storage is something which is which uses web-based HTTP interface. What does it use?
1 second.
This will use web-based what? HTTP interface. This cloud storage, this will use web-based HTTP interface, right? For what purpose? For accessing the storage. So how do you access cloud storage? Using web-based HTTP interface. Okay, so that is cloud storage.
Cloud storage will be based HTTP interface for accessing the storage, right?
Correct.
Okay.
So how end user would access the storage? Using the web-based HTTP interface.
And this,
Okay.
okay.
So and then we'll discuss about some of the storage and some of the databases. So there is something like cloud database, right? So there is a feature of cloud database that is also backbone for without database, you can't enable anything, right? So without database, you can't have cloud also. So this is also one important factor. So most important factor I have written from the top down approach, you can see. So data center, most important cloud data center, then virtualization, API, essential only you can say. These are all essential things. Without this, it will be really very challenging to enable cloud. So you need to have all these things. Clear?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now that we have discussed a lot about the basic.
Can you repeat about this cloud-based cloud database?
Cloud database again, like cloud database will have kind of just like a database, right? So you just understand that cloud needs to have database and it needs to be integrated with the cloud service, right? So most of the cloud computing is not much well suited with relational database. You might have heard about relational database.
No.
Relational database, RDBMS, like Oracle.
RDBMS, yeah.
like Oracle and SQL and
Okay, okay, okay.
MySQL.
Microsoft MySQL.
So how we will frame it if I have to understand the definition about it?
About
Cloud database?
about what cloud database you want to write.
Yeah.
So we'll be discussing more
Oh,
about
okay, okay.
cloud database, right?
Okay, all right.
And as of now, you just understand like
Mm-hmm.
as the term says, as it looks.
Okay.
How it looks? What do you think?
It's all, I mean,
You know database?
yeah.
Okay. Now just a database in the cloud can be called cloud database.
Yeah, okay. It's more like a database, but it's in the cloud. We can access in the cloud or something like that.
Correct. So just simply you understand like it is a database related to cloud, right? So
Okay, okay.
it is all about without the database, right? You can't utilize lot of the services and features because database is something to keep the data, right?
Yeah.
So what do you understand by database? What will be there in the database?
All the
Information,
data
right?
and information, yeah.
Correct. So database is what it is typically what it will keep. It will keep record. It will have some table. It will have some kind of
Yeah.
you have some stored procedures. You have a lot of things. So in database, right? Usually you will have information, transactions. Okay, like your end of the month, you are getting some report from the bank,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
statement.
Yeah.
Where will it be? Whatever transactions you are doing on a daily basis, that will be recorded, right, as credit or debit in your bank account, right? They will
Yeah,
have
right.
a database where they will store the data, right?
Yeah.
And at the end of the month, they will fetch the data from the database and they will make it as a report, right? And they will share that report to you. So there can be databases like you might have heard about Oracle or Microsoft SQL Server or MySQL Server, like that. Lot of databases are there. So some of these databases are called like relational databases, RDBMS, right? Some of the different types of databases will be there. So essentially, what you have to understand is, right, database. Like there will be something like DBMS, Access, MS Access, and Microsoft Access.
Yeah.
So that is a kind of DBMS. Okay, that is something called DBMS. See, DBMS. This is just a database. Say like MS Access is there, no?
Mm-hmm.
So this is just like DBMS. There will be something called RDBMS, right? So RDBMS example, I would say like Oracle, right? So like that only, you just understand like this is something like cloud database, how you have like cloud application, right? So you just understand like the database in the, say like IBM will have its own IBM cloud database, right? Google will have Google cloud database, right? So in Amazon you will have some kind of JSON DB, some kind of document DB. So some kind of database will be there. So you just understand like cloud database is a database that runs on cloud. That's it.
Okay.
Okay, nothing big about it. However, when we talk of cloud, right? So we talk about any particular product as service. They like initially when they came with the cloud, they said it is computing as a service. Earlier, computing used to be a product. You have to go and buy all the computer equipments, right? Initially, you had to, if you thought of computing, so you thought of going to market and buying the server, right? Now you think of computing, you think like a service. I will take this computing from Amazon, or I will take from Microsoft, or from Google, right? So simply you think, okay, I'll buy it online, right? So this is just a service, right? You'll buy the service, you will start running your business. So computing became a service. So similarly, right? So this database, which is in cloud, just understand like this is something, a database given as a service to you, given as a what? Service, not as a product. Getting? Hello? Anyone there?
Yeah,
Yeah, we are there.
Okay, perfect. So what did you understand by cloud database?
It's a database used on the cloud.
Yes,
Used by the
it's a
cloud.
database, right? Which runs on.
Hosted on the cloud.
You want to note it? You just note like this: database, right? A database, right? What you call running on running in cloud. Very simple. Just keep it very simple. Just look at it. It is as it is. A data center which enables the cloud. Data center meant for cloud, where you have scalability and availability, all the features, right? So database running in cloud, right, is a cloud database, right? So this will be provided as a service. So we'll discuss about some platform as a service, infrastructure as a service, and all those service models, right? Software as a service. So those things are next. I think we are running out of time, right? Can I clear this one? This page?
Yeah.
Ranjita? Ranjita, can I clear this?
Yeah, yes, Harish. It is like cloud database in the sense it is like suppose we have an application and there it is like suppose the .NET application there it is pointing to SQL Server database. So the cloud is providing a service as a SQL Server database, and we are accessing that database in cloud is in that way.
Correct. See, what happens is this is say like storage is there, no? Say like I mentioned, fourth point I mentioned cloud storage, right?
Yeah, storage.
So say like you have storage and storage which is there running on the cloud. So storage running in the available in the cloud platform is simply called cloud storage, right? So similarly, you just understand that a database which is running in cloud environment, right, or in a cloud platform, a database is running. So they are who is managing? The service provider. Service provider is managing the database in the cloud, and now what you do, you simply subscribe and use it. Possible?
Yes.
So anything when you talk in terms of cloud, you should be able to yeah.
Actually, my power has gone, so I've just disconnected.
Oh, so did you miss anything here?
Hello?
Yeah, did you miss anything?
Harish, are you able to hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Urvashi? I can hear you. I think anybody else all can hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, Harish.
Let me inform Urvashi. We can hear you. I think she cannot hear us. Oh, she's not in the meeting. I think some power, no?
Yeah, it is disconnected for her.
Okay, fine. So, we have been discussing, right, about the few things which enables the cloud, right? So from where did we jump to this topic? May I clear this screen?
Yes.
Okay, so let me clear this canvas and let me go back. Okay, so we were trying to discuss about the virtualization in the cloud. So I think it is taking a few extra minutes. So you all are fine, or any other engagement you have. It's like we are running few minutes extra, maybe another 5 minutes or something if you allow.
Yeah, it is fine then.
Yeah, Harish.
Urvashi, I think, has dropped. Okay, so fine. Let me just conclude here only then. In that case, no, let's not move to next new topic, right? So let's conclude here with this topic only.
Acha. Uh-huh.
I didn't get.
I think Urvashi is back, Harish.
Urvashi, you are back?
I think she is there in this.
Okay. Okay, let me see.
I think Urvashi had a network challenge, Harish. I think she just called me to check. I think she's back now in the class.
I
I'm
think
back,
she's-
Devashish, but it's like some network issues just because power has gone. So I don't know. I'm not able
Okay.
to hear anything properly.
Okay, fine. Anyways, we will not move to new fresh topic. Anyways, we are out of time. So just no. Let me take any question here. Maybe related to anything, right? So we have been pausing and discussing. However, like no till now anything is there. So please let me know. We can discuss it. So do you understand like virtualization in cloud and versus cloud? The difference?
Yeah, I couldn't hear the last topic which you have explained because I have got disconnected. So I was just reconnected.
Okay, okay. So we were discussing about the essential technologies which are important for enabling the cloud. So essential technologies which are enabling, which are capable of enabling the cloud, without which it will be difficult for cloud to run, right? So those essential things we discussed, like cloud data center. Okay, Urvashi?
Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm listening.
Yeah, so all can be on unmute for remaining few minutes maybe,
Yeah,
and let's discuss and close this topic. So what we discussed was there are some enabling, there are some key enabling technologies, right, to enable the cloud. So cloud data center, virtualization, we discussed about cloud APIs, right? We discussed about cloud storage and cloud database. But there is nothing to worry about these terms, because we'll be discussing in detail about these in depth. We will be discussing about storage, the various types of storage, how storage works in cloud. We will create storage, we'll use storage, we'll delete storage, we'll be we'll see, we'll access some of the features from command line, we'll access through the Amazon console. So like that we'll be doing it, we'll be working on all these things, we'll be encountering all these things again and again, right? So as of now, what you need to understand about cloud database is, it's a database which is running in the cloud. About cloud storage, it is storage running in the cloud, available in the cloud. So there should be, if anything is running in the cloud, means it should be available to the end user through some means, right? Through some application, through some something. So through APIs, they are making it available, right? So all these things are essential, right? And all these things are available, right, as a service to the end users, right? So in virtualization, we discussed what is virtualization, benefits of virtualization, types of virtualization, how virtualization works, virtualization in cloud, virtualization versus cloud. Both are not same. Virtualization is a technology, cloud is an environment. Cloud has lot of other things other than the what?
Virtualization.
Virtualization. Correct. So is it fine? Few more minutes, everyone?
Yeah, Harish.
Okay, so let me consolidate virtualization versus cloud one more time, right? Otherwise, no. So let me write it down. So once I write, maybe you can relate more.
Yeah.
So I'll write it like virtualization here and cloud here. Okay. So let's. No, some people you should be able to convince other people also. If somebody says no, cloud is all about virtualization, so you should be able to tell them no, it's not like that, right? So virtualization is a technology, right? Virtualization is a technology. Cloud is a methodology. Cloud is a methodology, right? Cloud is an environment, right? It's an environment, right? It's an environment, cloud environment, this environment, that. So it's a methodology, it's a technology, right? So what is the purpose of virtualization? So by definition, we say that technology, this is methodology. By purpose, right? What is the purpose of virtualization? Create virtual environment.
Yeah.
Create more virtual environment from one physical environment.
Yeah.
So one physical machine is there. From there, let me write only, otherwise it will be confusing later. So create, you say multiple virtual environment, right? From
Physical environment.
One physical
environment.
hardware system. One physical hardware system, right? So that is like the thing. Here what we can say the purpose of this. This is broad, right? It's not about one virtualization technology only. So this is about deliver, this will deliver, right? Various resources. This will deliver various resources to, right? Various, I'll use 3 times this word various. So various users, right? For, I'll again say various purposes. You can reframe the sentences.
Okay.
So I'll use this various 3 times, right? You can reframe the sentence to better suit you, right? So as of now, this is what is coming to my mind, that this is to deliver various resources to various users for various purposes. You got it?
Yeah.
Clear?
Yep.
So because this is something like not one resource or something, so that's why I'm emphasizing on the word various, correct?
Yeah.
And users also will be of different types, different nature, different institution, different culture, all different users and all different types of resources. Somebody wants data, somebody wants hardware, somebody database, somebody wants storage, somebody wants website, somebody wants something else. So different thing they will need, and they will have purpose also different. Somebody will use for business purpose, somebody will use for personal purpose, somebody will use for security purpose, somebody will use for, right, what, communication purpose. So maybe different uses, different purpose, right? So this is what the main difference, right? Another thing is like capital investment is there in virtualization.
No.
So we have been discussing about cutting the cost, right?
Yes.
So now you have capital expenditure.
Okay.
So initially you have to invest. Without investing, right, you cannot use this technology. CapEx is there, right? CapEx is involved. Okay. So if you talk about cost, right? So CapEx, right? CapEx is there,
Okay.
right? Then OpEx will become less. It is high, it is low. Because you have to invest. You have to definitely invest for using the technology, right? In case of cloud, if you talk in terms of private cloud, CapEx would be high. If you talk about private cloud, right? So I'll start talking the terms private and public and all those we will be discussing in later. So you just understand like that only. High CapEx and low OpEx for private cloud. But for public cloud, right? So what? Low CapEx, not for the end users, for the cloud provider, right? But high OpEx, not for end user. This is for cloud provider. So to set up the public cloud, they have low CapEx, however, high operating expenses are there, right? So in case of scalability, we discussed about scaling up for the virtualization. You remember?
Yeah.
However, for cloud, there is another word that I would call as scale out. So there is difference between scale up and scale out. We'll be discussing in the next session. Should be okay? We'll be discussing about scaling. Okay. So as of today, now I think we'll conclude here, right? For the day, I'll clear the canvas, right? And no, you just go through the this one, this curriculum, right? So here you see, so we have discussed about, in this module 1, we have discussed about cloud computing, right? Why cloud computing, benefits of cloud computing, understand basic data center design concepts, public cloud, private cloud, hybrid cloud is remaining, right? Service models also remaining, right? But now that you have good understanding about the surroundings, it will not be difficult for you to grab the concept of what is the service model and what is public cloud, private cloud, and hybrid cloud. Maybe you can relate now only. Okay. So I'll not touch this topic, right? Because you may have questions and whatever things we can discuss, but no, it will take another 10-15 minutes, right? So let's break here, right? And then we'll resume tomorrow, and we'll start with concept of how we deploy the cloud, how we migrate to cloud, and how we deploy the cloud, and what are the various service models, how cloud people are providing the services. So that we will begin with that, right? And then we will try to do this other features, right? So what I expect from all of you tomorrow we'll be discussing we'll be completing these two concepts, and then see, this is cloud computing, something basic, and service model anyways, like we are discussing here. This is the service model, right? So we'll be discussing the service model, and then we'll discuss about global infrastructure of the AWS, what type of services they are offering, and how we can access the AWS instances, right? So these all things are not going to take much time, because you have the basic and good foundational understanding of the concept, right? So, and all of these things will be repeated again and again. Same thing will be doing it. So most important thing tomorrow would be the hands-on. Okay. So this is like how many availability zones, how many regions and all are there. So this we'll discuss. But tomorrow hands-on is important. You have to do hands-on. So all of you have your own systems, or you are also using office systems? Any one of you?
I'm using office system.
Okay. Who is that?
Office system.
Ranjita.
Ranjita, you are using office system, and who else?
Sai, I am also using office system.
Okay, so if you are using office system, then you need to be careful when it comes to install anything or something, because no, if there is nothing to install, right, just to configure, right, so those things will be easy for you, so you can do it. But when it comes to installing something, in that case, maybe if you use a KVM, you have any virtual machine which is dedicated for your training purpose running on your machine? Do you have anything like that?
No, Harish. No, Harish.
Okay, okay. So when it comes to installing something there on your physical machine, whatever OS is running, so I'll just remind you at that time, you can skip that part, right? And most of the part doesn't require any installation or anything. You just need to download some putty, just download something and directly use it, and you can delete it, right? So I will be guiding you through that. So tomorrow you have to sign up for AWS free tier account. Okay?
Okay.
So we all will have, the very first thing to do is sign up for free tier account, and you require a credit or debit card there. So all of you, please be ready with a credit or debit card to sign up for the free tier account, where you will get 12 months access to the free tier services provided by Amazon. Okay, so you will not be charged, you will just be charged 2 rupees, right? Just for authentication purpose, they will charge 2 rupees and they will return it. Maybe same day or maybe next day, or maybe after 3 days, but they will return. So we will be using free tier. I'll be guiding you all so that you do not incur any extra cost, right? So they are providing for experimental purpose, for learning purpose, right? So they are providing, right, free tier account, right? So in that also, if you try to use something which is more than what is allowed, then you will be charged. So you please follow the guidance that will be given. So accordingly you will be doing hands-on. So I'll be guiding you, right? And we will be doing practicals. That will be more interactive, and that will be more you will be happy to do that. Okay, so we'll be creating some storage. We'll be putting some data in that. We can later we can create a website. We can put some data in that website. We will see that data is reflected in the website. So all those things we'll be doing later, right? So as of now, you please be ready for tomorrow.
Harish, I'm so sorry, I have disconnected again. Okay, so I guess you have just explained this curriculum.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I was just going through this curriculum. So tomorrow we'll be discussing these two topics, and then we'll be discussing these small topics, right?
Yeah, okay.
So these are something which is not going to take time. It is just like AWS services. So what kind of services it is providing, right? What kind of infrastructure is there? So these all things will not take much time, right? So tomorrow we will be focusing on the hands-on. Okay, so we will sign up for free tier account, and for that you need debit or credit card.
Okay.
So please be ready with debit or credit card tomorrow, right?
Yeah, okay.
And we will sign up, and then we will start using the resources, right? So we'll see what is cloud storage tomorrow, this S3 bucket, right? So we will be creating some bucket, we will be creating some storage, we will be keeping some data there, we'll be launching some elastic compute, this EC2 instance, right? And so maybe we'll further go to some other topics as well, right?
Okay.
So tomorrow we'll not have much theory, right? So much theory was today only, so maybe a little bit boring, right? However, I just wanted you all to have a good foundation about the cloud computing, right? So you all are happy with today's class?
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah. Yes, Harish.
Yes, Harish.
Yeah, Harish.
Yeah. So if you have any feedback, any point of time, please feel free to tell me, or please feel free to inform Devashish, right? And no, please keep interacting, and let's make it much more interactive. And please feel free to speak out whatever wrong or right you are knowing or not knowing. Just be frank and tell it, because if you don't tell to your teacher, then you will never know it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So please feel free to tell that, right? So that I can help you out, right? So, okay, all the best. Maybe if you get some time or something, maybe try to know what more about cloud computing. Well, let's meet tomorrow again.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Harish,
Thanks.
Harish, Ranjita here.
Yeah,
It is like, I have one backup laptop. It is like operating system. Windows 7 is fine, right?
Yeah,
If you
it's
want to
fine.
install, yeah.
It's perfect. It's perfectly fine, because see, you are dealing with cloud.
Okay.
Yeah, you can use anything, any device. Okay, not an issue.
Okay.
Okay, so
Yes.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Thanks,
so
Harish. Yeah.
yeah.
Bye.
Yeah,
Bye.
Harish. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah,
Bye.
thanks
Bye.
everyone.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Thank
Harish.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.